welcome to Blessed Blontent Blub. I'm not.
Good.
Just go.
Waiting for the episode that would break you.
I have to build up to it, and I can't build the energy today. It's not happening.
Okay.
That's fair.
So with me, as always, are my co-hosts Dan and Bob, video games from GigaBoots.com.
I don't have any quotes here.
Oh, darn it. Neither do I.
Time to Stephen Chow down? I don't know. Fucking, it's a Scott Pilgrim. It's a Scott Pilgrim line.
If you're short, you don't retort.
KZ Excellent from KZExcellent.com.
This is the first time I regret watching a dub.
I'm so excited to talk about that.
And Dr. Aggro from Dr. Aggro, who is here for some reason. He just broke in.
True.
I mean, I was going to say something prepared and clever about soccer, but now it feels like it would be out of place.
We had to do the 2012 internet crossover bit where Dan asked Aggro how he got in his house, or in this case, Bob's house.
Aggro's like through the door, and then it cuts to the door, and the door is open. And we hold on the shot for 20 seconds.
Oh, come on.
That was funny a couple of times, all right?
It was funny when we did it, and it didn't hold for 20 seconds.
You understand pacing.
Yeah, no, it's kind of also having music going the whole time. You know, that would help a lot of bad internet comedy.
Mm-hmm.
But the movie we watched is Kung Fu Hustle, because you demanded it. Kung Fu Hustle being a Stephen Chow movie, who I don't think... Stephen Chow. A Stephen Chow
like
movie.
Stefan Colbert? Like...
Who... I don't think he's... Anything else he's done is known in the West except maybe Shaolin Soccer.
Yeah, Shaolin Soccer is the
Definitely
big
Shaolin
one.
Soccer.
Yeah, Kung Fu Hustle's like the last major hit he had.
Except he says he's doing Kung Fu Hustle 2 next, so hopefully that's cool. And
Sure.
And comes out. I need to see some of his other stuff, because he has made several movies since Kung Fu Hustle. He's made 4.
In this interview I'm watching for Kung Fu Hustle, Stephen Chow's like, yeah, I did this cooking thing. And I'm like, oh, cooking thing, that sounds good. And Bob looks it up, and he's like, I think we watched this. And it was really boring. And I go, oh, I remember slipping off to sleep watching that now. I need to go back and recheck out some of his career, because he certainly did things before and after, and I've been disappointed by things on both ends.
Yeah, I was like, I'm pretty sure we checked out that stuff, and it was never good.
There's like one movie, I cannot remember the name. Stephen Chow has a CGI alien buddy.
C67, something like that.
Yeah,
That's the one he made right after Kung Fu Hustle. I'm interested in Journey to the West. That one he made.
We watched that.
Oh,
Bob.
yeah, I forgot he did that.
Bob, I swear to God, we watched that.
We
one.
watched the Journey to the West movie that was Jet Li and Jackie Chan. I don't think we watched his, but maybe not.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Forbidden Kingdom?
Yeah.
I was not really a Journey to the West movie. It was more of a Warriors of Virtue sequel.
Swear to God, we watched the fucking Stephen Chow one. I'm
We
gonna go
might
watch
have.
a trailer
We
while
might
we
have.
record this, so that way I can figure it out. We need to talk about the movie, though.
Do we?
Yes, we do. So Kung Fu Hustle is a very simple story. An evil gang of dancing guys who have hatchets.
The
Called the Axe Gang.
Yeah.
They want to extort. I forget. God, I just watched the fucking movie. It gets lost in like the Looney Tunes shit. The actual plot. There's an evil gang called the Axe Gang. They want to fuck with this slum, and martial arts masters who live in the slum beat their ass. That's the movie.
Yeah, I can summarize this. This movie has an axe gang. They're very funny. We open to show how cruel and funny they can be. Then we cut to the slum where some dude who's just Aladdin core, who's just trying to get by, just grifting, tries to trick them into thinking he's a member of the axe gang. He isn't, though. And when they start to not being intimidated by him, he lights a firecracker and throws it up to summon them, which is a thing they would do. But coincidentally, it flies over the fence, lands on the head of a member of the Axe Gang. He comes around with his hair blown up like he's a Looney Tune and goes, "Who did that?" And he goes, I'm one of you, brother." Anyway, wreck this fucking slum. And then the rest of the movie is a bit of a mess as all that happens. It turns out Journey to the West is free on YouTube? Question mark?
Neat.
Yeah, I don't think any description or summary past that necessary. It sure is a movie full of jokes and set pieces.
Yeah, you could say this is the Uncharted 3 of movies. although I think the set pieces and segments in this are probably better than the ones in Uncharted 3.
You could also say this is if episode 2 and the second Matrix Burly Brawl fight were an entire martial arts film because of the special effects.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, it's really good when they kick someone and they become a wacky PS2 character.
Yeah, the terrible CG has gotten so much better this many years later.
Yes.
Every time someone falls over and then they CG things falling next to them, like, oh yeah, they fell over, so obviously their shoe flew upward. And it's like
so much unnecessary CG.
Yes.
It's absolutely hilarious.
This is like the mathematical opposite of a Jackie Chan shot, where he'll do it over and over and over to get it perfect. Stephen Chow's like, no, I'm not going to learn to do that shit with a soccer ball. CG that shit.
I knew nothing about this movie going in, aside from that trailer that we watched. I'd never heard of it. This might be the dumbest thing I've seen for our content ever. That's not a bad thing, but it really did feel like I could not believe how stupid this thing was.
Yeah, I don't know how you managed to stay completely insulated from Kung Fu Hustle. It was actually huge.
Yeah, I genuinely had no idea.
I mean, the behind the scenes literally said this was the top grossing Hong Kong film of all time.
Oh my God.
And I was like, man, shit.
Right?
He's shit Crouching Tiger.
I think I actually saw this in theaters.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we did too.
Yeah.
And then on DVD, and then on UMD.
Yeah, I watched this movie probably over 6 times back when it came out.
Oh yeah.
I watched it subbed this time, but I always remember the dub where they just start quoting Spider-Man. Which I think is the scene where the least cool of the first 3 martial arts masters, the guy who's just like strong and kicks people and he wears like a burlap sack.
Oh, he's the cool one though.
Yeah, I know. the kicking one's great.
He seems like
people.
the least powerful one, which is why he gets owned immediately.
I mean,
Yes.
he does.
That always upset me.
In the dub, he's like, with great power comes great responsibility. I heard that in a movie. And I always remember seeing that in the theaters, being like, I don't think that's what he said.
It's funny because in the subtitles it does say that, except for the I heard that in a movie part.
That would definitely be like the dub script to an Hong Kong movie type thing of the time, where it's like, we're mostly right, but then we have to include like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the dub is awful in this.
The dub was rough.
Probably deliberately.
We watched about 20 minutes, I think, of the dub. Would you say that was right, Bob?
Probably.
KZ, did you watch the whole thing dubbed?
Yes.
Aggro, did you watch subbed or dubbed?
I watched the dub. This was my first time experiencing the dub.
See, I thought it was mine too until we got to a certain line and I went, oh, right, that's why we usually bail.
as soon as that landlady just said, I'm just going to drop some slurs.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we could have left that as fairy, but thank you for taking it to the next level. Between that and I feel like the because they want it to match the mouth flaps better, which is fucking impossible, by the way, but they rewrite a lot of the joke delivery in a way where it just doesn't come across as funny as the subtitles. And the tone and stuff from the original performance isn't there.
It's always a tall order.
Just kind of bailed after that F-bomb. I was like, I'm good.
They have to make it fit in with all localizations from that era. Have you ever played a Nippon Ichi Software of America game from the time? If you want to hear Yuri Lowenthal say some slurs, go back to those.
Imagine the human hearing this who's like, that is on my to-do list.
At first, I'm like, what do you mean? Then I remember Disgaea 2, there's a character named Taro, and they added a D in there.
Oh.
And just used that the whole game.
No, okay. All right.
KZ, Yuri Lowenthal is like the asshole villain protagonist of Soul Nomad, and he drops that slur like every third line.
Oh God, did they fix that in the re-release?
No, they didn't fucking touch those games. Are you insane?
I'm sorry that I wanted to hope.
See, I, if you just play Phantom Brave, you're perfectly safe, I think. I think. Yeah, I really like that there's so much bad CG in this movie that it kind of becomes a fun game at some point of, like, that looks good. Is that that's a physical with a bad CG smoke effect on it. Okay. As you try to parse what you're looking at, because it's, they'll do wacky shit of like, okay, he hits a bunch of people, they become CG and fly away. But then they'll do a shot where it's like this really good shot of he starts fighting people to get towards, what did they call him? The Berserker or whatever? The Kung Fu
The
Master.
Beast would be the
Beast.
super badass one.
So he's fighting his way towards the Beast, and you get to see him fight the first 4 or 3 people in this very direct line of a shitload of people. And then they do this cool close-up shot that's a tracking shot, moves the camera to the side and focuses on the Beast's face. And then into the lower left part that now has negative space, Stephen Chow steps into frame. And when they do the reverse shot of Stephen Chow standing there, you see every last person shoved into the ceiling, floor, or walls. And that's real. And it looks great. So it's this constant battle of like really awful CGI and really funny physical things. Mm-hmm. It's really... This movie structure's a fucking mess, so you just have to be there for the moments of jokes.
They all are. I remember watching Kung Fu. Not Kung Fu. Not this is what we're talking about. I'm watching Shaolin Soccer. Mm-hmm. Like after it came out, because I had seen like a trailer for it, and then it didn't come out in theaters anywhere near me. I don't even know if it came out in theaters in the United States.
Yeah, I don't know.
Pretty sure.
But I saw a trailer for it some way, and then years later watched it on video. And in my head, that movie's like 35 minutes long.
Yeah.
But it's almost 2 hours, but the pacing is just fucked.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things you may not remember from watching Kung Fu Hustle. I need to make sure to get this in here. This has been the most interesting. I haven't seen this movie in 15 years rewatch I've had in my life. Because we're in the asylum where our main character has been contracted by the Axe Gang to go break out the Beast. And I'm like, I don't remember exactly what happens in here other than a few shots of him running around an asylum, but I just remember right before he gets the Beast out, the process of literally the last step, there's a shot that's really weird and doesn't fit in, and then the shining blood hallway happens. And I'm like, right, okay, yeah, that would qualify for that in my brain 15 years ago, where I'm just like, why are you the Shining now? What does it mean?
What happened?
Yeah, even having watched it like 10 hours ago, my brain is mostly just a collection of the scenes. Like, I remember the fight in the casino. I remember the entire ending fight. Mm-hmm. It's like all the fights stick really strongly, and everything between them is like, what was between those?
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
That's where I'm at, and I watched it 3 hours ago.
Yeah, it would feel like it would be easier to retroactively parse the structure of this film if there was a more definitive through line, not only for our main character, but like the other supposedly important characters, like love interest and best friend.
Yeah, like that whole
I forgot
group,
they existed before I rewatched it. I was like, there's other characters.
Because this movie, it sounds like a joke when I say this, but it's this movie doesn't have a story. It has events that happen. Mm-hmm. Like nobody really has an arc. Nobody like really internally changes or overcomes or learns anything. It's just there's an inciting incident, and then events keep happening in reaction to it without a plot.
See, it's kind of the way you describe that almost comes off as like a Tarantino film where you're watching the fallout in real time, right? But no, there's not even that much of a cosmic through line.
Yeah, it really feels like Stephen Chow and his, like, every time the movie follows him, it shouldn't. Like, he shouldn't be in the movie.
Yeah, it is really, it is very, very strange where they include like one scene where he gets beaten up and he's hiding inside the fucking thing on the post.
The thing on the traffic light, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the thing on the and he like starts like putting handprints in it. because he's all beaten up, and I think he gets stung by bees or something.
No, he gets bitten by a snake. He's working through the
okay,
venom
that's
after
right.
sweats.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So he does that, and then he gets beaten. He gets beaten nearly to death by the beast, and I guess that activates his Zenkai boost, and he's now a kung fu master.
Yep.
The funniest part of that is when he goes from being Stephen Chow the Gray to Stephen Chow the White, as his outfit changes completely from his moral gray that he had throughout the film to his now virtuous, pure white self. I thought that was funny as shit. I'm like, that is something I didn't pick up on my first viewing. Very good. I clap.
It is great when he just walks out and like you see him in frame and he looks at the camera and just you feel it coming through his expression. This is the reason I made this movie. Excuse me while I indulge myself for the next 20 minutes.
Yes. Yes. It's like if Lord of the Rings was about Gandalf. It's like, we're now going to focus on this badass. Check out this guy boost.
God, I wish that freaking Gandalf was putting handprints into walls after he became Gandalf the White.
God, that was insane.
It just comes back as Pai Mei.
I've heard people say that that kind of thing is in the Hobbit movies, and it's part of why they suck. Because just like, why is Gandalf doing his fighting game super moves on the ring rings?
Oh, I might. Maybe I need to watch this.
Why is this movie 4 hours long and 48 frames a second?
So that way I could drink heavily and fall asleep and wake back up for something. I don't know.
No.
Yeah, maybe you see the next time Gandalf fires a laser.
You know, Phil's been talking a lot about, we need to remember how to make an hour and a half long film.
Yes.
Because the industry's making so many 2 hour plus films. And I'm like, yeah, once you extend it to this is 3 hours or longer than 3 hours, that seems like an open invitation to get drunk while watching it. Like, I don't drink that heavily. Like, I think I drank once or twice this year, maybe. But the thought of like, I'm going to lock in your attention nonstop for 4 hours. And I'm like, no, you're not. I'm sorry. You've said the impossible.
You can't sell me on a 4-hour film. That can't happen. A 3 where I'm like, you gotta work hard. You gotta work hard and be really good, really well paced. 4 hours, I'm like, get the fuck out of here, man.
Kung Fu
I'm
Hustle
doing this
here.
in laps.
I'm really glad it was an hour and a half because Jesus, is it decomposing trying to be that long?
Yes.
They're like, and then we have this scene and they get away. And then we have this scene and then they get away.
You know, that lead up scene to him being venom bitten and healing himself in that light out.
You mean the chase scene?
Yeah, before the chase scene even.
Okay.
We get one of the best scenes in the movie that has Stephen Chow in it.
Yes.
Where they're trying to show knives at the old lady, and he keeps stabbing himself with the knives.
Yeah, he throws it and bounces off the wall and hits his fucking shoulder. And his friend's like, man, you need to aim better. And he's like, okay, you do it. And his friend like reaches back with the knife and stabs him on accident.
That's pretty good.
And this is before Talladega Nights, so we don't have that knife stuck in guy's arm yet scene.
I fucking forgot about that.
Yeah, it's the best scene in Talladega Nights.
Yeah, that was a few years after this. Yeah. Huh.
I don't have that much experience with PS3 launch titles. I had forgotten that the two assassin guys just look like Fang from Street Fighter V.
Oh yeah, they're that fight scene with them is the best one in the movie, I feel.
The shamisen players, right? Or whatever they are.
Yeah, they use the harp to like decapitate people with the wind blades.
Yeah, I don't remember what you call that in China.
Yeah, me neither.
It's a guzhang?
Sure.
Guzhang?
Sure.
Ching?
Yeah, sure.
I forget. I
Now-
Got the right
can't
letters.
pronounce.
Who knows? what
This
it-
is unfortunate. This isn't on YouTube for a bunch of Chinese people to show up and say we're racist to give us 1 billion views.
Damn it. I was having so much fun doing that.
You said the CG was bad, you racist.
But now I'm just like, what started the archetype of the guy with the big brim hat and the tiny little sunglasses who kills you?
That's got to be some old Hong Kong movie thing.
Yeah, I know. I've seen that in much older Hong Kong movies. The funny thing is, in that interview, I can't remember the name of the guy who was interviewing Stephen Chow, but they're like, is the Axe Gang based on a real thing in Hong Kong or in China? And he just goes, it's based on a movie from the 70s. I don't know if it was real.
That's a good.
This is real.
That's a good fucking answer, honestly.
Like, it could have been, I don't know, fucking.
I saw it and I thought that was cool, and I put it in my movie.
Like, this movie is not based in a time period; it's based in an aesthetic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, fuck. What was the Fred Astaire movie poster they had in the background or whatever? It's like, wait, when does this take place?
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, when he's holding up the deaf lady with the knife or whatever. They frame it as almost romantically holding her, and in the background you see a movie poster for a Fred Astaire film, and I'm like, when is this? Okay, 1940 Shanghai. There we go. Sure. Got it. Now I know. There's not one plot thread in this film
No, there's really not.
that goes well.
It's like there is no plot thread.
I mean, you can make that argument, absolutely.
I think the comparison to Uncharted 3 is really apt because they were like, we made the set pieces and then wrote connecting parts later, and I'm like, that's probably what happened here.
Oh, 100%. This is a series of set pieces. You know, these are moments.
This
How do we
entire
fill
thing
in
was
the
just
time
noise.
How do we fill in the time between? Probably just have this guy's butt hang out. That's the joke, right?
I love that that's his character.
Yes.
It's just like every shot that's going to feature him, even the ending shot for the post-credit scene or whatever, I'm just like, he's still doing it. And Bob's like, what? Because it's a crowded city street. He's just on the side with his ass hanging out. Oh, cool. The film was re-released in 3D in 2014. That's awesome.
What the fuck?
I thought that was a really great experience. What do you mean an MMO was made on this?
Wait, what? What? No, you're fucking. What the? No,
1 second.
that cannot be real. Okay,
They
it
were
actually came out.
Yeah, it actually came out. They were planning a North American PC and PS3 release for late 2009, but it never happened. The game's only available in Asia for PC.
What the shit?
That's fucking hilarious.
Oh, okay.
So let me let me just start saying some shit, okay? Because we talked about the movie structurally. We talked about various other things.
Sure.
Special effects and etc. I really enjoy this film. I don't think it's
so
an
do I.
amazing film, but I really enjoy it. And I'm glad to come back and revisit it because recollecting this film's hard.
It's a movie I'd call brave,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and even when I saw it in theaters when I was a teenager, I thought it was brave because I had never seen a movie that did shit like this.
Right.
Like, I had never seen the combination of like a kung fu movie with these ridiculous CG effects. I guess you could say the Matrix movies kind of do that, but it's like contextualized inside the story of the Matrix.
Yes, where it has them literally become Looney Tunes characters.
Yes. Like they start, for people who haven't seen this, they start running and their legs become dust clouds with weird animated loops.
Yeah, they do like the Sonic the Hedgehog legs at points.
Oh man, I want to see that scene cut to Sonic music.
But I really like the final fight. I still think is really great. Where it has him kicking the shit out of 100 people at once and has the toe crusher, maybe the greatest technique in martial arts movie history, where he just stomps on their foot as hard as they can and destroys it.
God, it's so painful to watch.
It's so great because the Beast is like, that's just kid shit. That's not a real move.
And then he does it to him.
This also has the amazing sequence where the Beast catches the bullet with his bare hands.
Yeah, that was good.
Wow.
There's also that really good moment of the Axe Gang leader just yelling at him to beat him over the head. He's like, yeah. And he's like, yeah, hit him over the head. Yeah, you need to bash the shit out of him. And then he turns around and hits him and he's like, which is it? Am I hitting him over the head or bashing the shit out of him? And then they're like, okay, this is our one visceral body horror moment for the film. He cracked open his skull and now he's bleeding profusely. And I'm like, oh my God. I kind of forgot how insane this was to go in the middle of this film. Other films like Tarantino films, right? Hyper-violent, expected given the universe. This is so Looney Tunes that the moment the main character cracks the fucking Axe Gang leader over the head and he bleeds out correctly, I say correctly because I've literally had a similar head injury and blended the exact same way. So I'm like, holy shit.
I mean, it goes along with him really not understanding that this is the movie he's in. He's in a much different movie by himself.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, no, correct.
Another one of my favorite scenes in the movie is immediately after the assassin fight. We have the two martial arts masters who run the community.
The landlords.
Yeah, the landlords appear in the Axe Gang guy's car.
Yes, in between cuts.
Yes. So they intimidate him like crazy and then just leave, and he drives off, and he's shaking the entire time while trying to act cool. So he's having like his assistant try and light a cigarette for him as they're both shaking like mad. And it's the best sequence, or one of the best sequences I've seen in any movie.
Right? Because like he catches on fire, and like normally this joke would be like 4 to 8 seconds long. But they just keep holding on it as he rides around silently trying to put his hair out.
And then his fucking assistant tries to put it out with his jacket, then his jacket lights on fire and he's screaming and stuff now.
Like the situation keeps ramping, but the camera stays steady. The music does not change. We're just holding on this shot.
It's pretty good. I really love the performance of the landlady in this. The landlord lady, her in the car is the most memorable performance of this entire movie, of just clenching her fist and pointing at him and just being like, if you come back, I'm gonna end your fucking life.
That fucking chin. Yes, ma'am.
Also, the landlord himself is also exceptional in this film. Everything about him is funny as shit.
That scene when she finishes gesturing at him, as soon as they drive off, there's a click in the music. There's a snap sound, and it sounds to me exactly like the snap sound from the Queen song "Body Language." So I always hear that in my head, and that connection is ironclad.
It's just there for decades. Yeah, there are a lot of really memorable moments in this.
Like when the Beast is fighting the landlords and he twists their arms so hard the sleeve disintegrates.
Yes.
Yes. And they need a cartwheel to try and undo it.
Yes. That part's really good when the landlord has to spin the landlady to make her keep up with that shit. I don't like landlady, even though that's what that character's written as in the fucking... I'm just going to call them landlordess because that's funny as shit.
I was going to bring up, like, there's... They name themselves when they introduce themselves to the Beast. And, like, in... Like, the DVD I had, the sub always said Paris and Helen of Troy. And then the dub says some other shit.
Really?
Where like he'll name him, he gave himself some Chinese name that I cannot remember, and she said she was the daughter of the dragon.
Weird.
And I Googled around a bit and I could not find an actual explanation of what the fuck any of this is a reference to.
Yeah, that's weird.
Huh.
That's really weird.
That whole scene is great because they show up at the Axe Gang's bar with a funeral bell. Always a really strong introduction.
Oh, yeah.
Old school kung fu shit.
And it's fucking huge. It's most of the entrance.
Yes.
Yeah, that entire sequence maybe is my favorite part.
Yeah.
It's a great fight.
It's really good. Yeah, Stephen Chow being the main character. This film's fucking weird.
Yeah, he shouldn't even be in it.
Yeah.
He's got a real Mad Max vibe going on. She's just kind of here.
Using the bell as a megaphone is another great moment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely inspired.
I enjoyed that.
It's like the closest thing to like a Dragon Ball fight ever put in a movie. Where like it's the structure of two anime characters fighting, where it's like, okay, he's losing, but then there's the trick.
It's almost the third act of a Chang-Chi film. It's perfect.
The destruction effects did a lot.
Little did you know, he had mud in his ears.
So the end of this movie where he uses the Buddhist palm, I feel like we didn't see anything like that in a video game until Asura's Wrath came out.
That's true.
That makes sense, actually.
Like not even God hand?
No.
Wow.
And that would have been after this because this is 04.
Yeah, you do. God Hand does have a thing like that. That's like the ultimate move you can learn. It's literally just that.
Huh.
They're making God Hand, and they're just like, yo, check out this film from 2 years ago.
Yeah, before that, like the only time I can think of seeing like the giant hand is fucking G Gundam. Where once Domon learns the Seki Ha Tenkyoku and he just shoots the giant hand at people.
Yeah, for people who don't know, God Hand is a 2006 PS2 game. So
same year as God of War 1.
months later, though.
Yeah, but it doesn't have the Minotaur, so it wins.
Yes.
That is correct.
It's funny how that works.
So you think the sequel's going to involve the kid that the kung fu master is selling the pamphlets to at the very end?
I hope not. I fucking hate that kid.
Yeah.
Same.
I cannot stand watching a child just have mucus on their face.
Oh yeah,
Oh
that
yeah,
is.
I hated that the entire
I'm
time.
like, I know you can feel that, you little shit. Wipe it off.
Nah. I don't wipe anything.
I'm like, I think God should kill you.
I looked it up for the record. God of War 1 is 2005, so it's the next year and several months later.
Well, look, when you only have $5, you have to spread it out.
It took them that much longer to decide to not have a Minotaur in their game.
That game came out, they're like, we have to cut the whole Minotaur segment. We have to make something to fill its place.
Literally anything. Come on, guys. I just now remembered how these episodes end. That's unfortunate. Usually I get surprised every time.
You know, I also forget almost every time until like the 5 seconds before he says
Yeah, but there's something we have to do before that. We have to wrap up and review it.
I don't watch this show. What's happening?
You'll find out, sweetie.
it. Oh, you're gonna. This might get interesting.
Well, I guess unless anybody else has any moments from this movie they want to bring up and discuss.
We might have said everything that happens in this film.
I'm sorry.
It's hard to discuss a movie that's just a bunch of disparate parts put in order.
Yeah, a lot of it is just the spectacle of watching it and the fascinating angle of seeing, like, it doesn't look good, but it's really interesting.
This looks terrible. Interesting.
Like, it doesn't look good, but then you have the megaphone bell thing and you just see everything explode.
Right.
And it looks
I'm
really
like,
a
there's
lot
value
like a
here.
PS3. See, it upgrades to like PS3 game for that one.
Yeah, it's
We have
really
destructible environments in this game.
They have a tornado, and I'm like, that shit looks like it would have showed up in a God of War cutscene.
Okay, the Beast versus Kratos. Who do you have?
Oh man. I'm gonna say the Beast.
I don't know. I don't think that frog shit would work on Kratos.
He's trying to do that frog shit and a giant circle button appears over his head.
I don't know. Kratos, he's got a lot of wind up on those chains.
Yeah, I was gonna say the Beast is very fast.
He's really fast, but he like Kratos' bladed weapons are very strong. I don't know. They're mythical.
How is he against poison?
I don't know. We didn't find out.
Yeah, I don't know. Kratos can shrug off being petrified, so I don't think it would do anything.
Yeah.
Well, Lavi's petrified while 1 foot above the ground, though.
Yeah, then he explodes instantly.
Man, what a game. Okay, now we've talked about literally everything.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Good.
now it's time to review this movie on the blessed Blontent scale of 5 to 15 to go with Cursed Content Club's -5 to 5. Since Aggro is the special guest, they get to say a bit and give their score first.
Kung Fu Hustle seems like it was designed in a lab to be a cult classic film that your friend goes, "Oh, you haven't seen," and then you immediately have to watch it. Yes,
that is maybe the most accurate description I've ever heard.
So if I've got my basic arithmetic right, I think I'm going to give this movie a 12. right in that exact spot where you can love a movie for all of its flaws forever.
Okay. Bob?
Yeah, coming back to this, there's still a whole bunch I really love in it. And I was actually sitting on the same place. I'm also going to give it a 12. Like, it's really strong, and you should see it. If you haven't seen it, you definitely should.
KZ?
As I outlined earlier, this is an incredibly stupid film, but it is very fun throughout. I can't tell you the basic plot anymore. It's kind of just disappearing, but those set pieces look cool. I can give this a 10. It might have been a bit higher if I didn't watch the English dub.
That makes sense.
I have a feeling I could have maybe appreciated it a little bit more if it didn't immediately flashbang me in the first 5 minutes.
Dan?
I love this film. However, when it comes to this film, cannot possibly be that person who tells everyone, oh, you haven't seen it, you have to. And because of that and my relative unwillingness to watch it again, because I've already seen it like 3 times, I'm going to say it's a really enjoyable time, but I'm going to give this a 9. This is helping me build out the bottom of my scores, but I love this film a lot. Maybe watch it if you're okay with the movie being a fucking shambling mess and looking awful at times. If it's got some good jokes to give you. I still think the roughest part of rewatching this film is the Venom Snake lip scene.
Yes. Yes, it is.
It's like, oh, that looks terrible. And thinking about what that is physically feels terrible. But yeah, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 5 to 15. Carry the 3, divide by.
Yeah, use your PEMDAS. I'm totally with you where I have no desire to ever see this again, but I feel like everyone should at least see it once.
See, I don't know if Tosha's seen this, and I need her to see the landlady do the pointing and clenching fist thing.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And that's the thing. I'm like, I need these parts to be seen. Fuck. I guess watching it again.
You're like, here they are on YouTube.
I think I've seen this movie like 15 times.
Yeah.
And YouTube will be like, here it is at 60 FPS.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this an 11. I think that's pretty much the part, like by volume, the parts that you can even remember.
So what? Your brain already like worked off the chaff?
Yeah, it's like there's 40% of this movie that you will never, under any circumstances, remember.
Yeah, that's fair. That really is fair.
I'm wondering, and considering I watched Shaolin Soccer, it had an even more intense version of that effect. I'm wondering if maybe you should just like write a normal story.
I actually, back then, I remember thinking Shaolin Soccer was better put together than this movie. So I'm very interested to go back and check that out myself.
Yeah. Last tidbit I need to throw in this review. I really like when the landlady does the cool flip over the car and smacks into a billboard. And the way you know she hit something off screen is they throw lipstick and her bra and a number of other random items into the air. And I'm like,
yes.
She just exploded like a video game character. She just dropped her full inventory.
Yeah, you gotta go pick up her coins.
Yep. Well, it's time.
Fuck.
So normally we decide what set of movies will be the voting for next month's Cursed Content Club. Or in some cases, this month's Cursed Content Club.
Yeah, there's a little drift this time.
Oh, man.
Normally, Bob picks between A, B, C, or D, because it's funny, Aggro gets to do it this time.
Oh, shit.
Yep.
I think I've fallen into this trap before.
It's been a while.
I'm going to go with B.
You sure?
I mean, necessarily no, but I'm going to stick with it.
Okay, that is Overblown SNL Skits 2.
Yes!
Oh, I'm so
Which
sorry.
includes, It's Pat. I don't know what that is.
No.
What? They made a movie out of that?
They did, yeah.
What the fuck?
Blues Brothers 2000,
Oh my gosh.
Wayne's World 2.
No, not again. I just watched
Did
that.
you see? You watched that like 2 months ago.
Stuart Saves His Family. I don't know what that is either.
Stuart Little?
I want to die. I actually know what this is.
Stuart Little?
And this is Spinal Tap.
Okay.
That might be okay.
Was that an SNL skit?
Pretty sure, yeah, it was in the list, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was a skit, but it is produced by them.
Nice.
We could
Yeah,
have
maybe I fleshed it out with that.
I mean, I hope you guys like early new wave British metal as much as I do.
Well, I'm just glad MacGruber didn't end up on this list because I'm afraid that might be terrible, but I'm too cowardly to watch the film and find out.
Oh no, Stuart Saves His Family stars Al Franken.
Concerned
Thanks.
sound. Oh, yeah. Oh, you only need to see one frame of this fucking character's face, and you're like, oh, you.
Oh God, that.
Oh, yup.
Yeah. That
Well,
fucking swell.
See you next month, everybody, or this month.
Fuck!
Good luck, guys. As I walk away from the pit I kicked you in.